Howdy folks. So if you're at this video, you've either completed project 3 and you want to see the finished product, or you kind of want to review what I have, or you're at the very beginning and you want to see what a finished product looks like. So here's my game for unit 3. So you can see it is a side scroller. One of the basic tenets is, of course, you have control over your character. Here you can see I'm moving left to right, and if I jump, I'm brought down by gravity. And then you can't tell, but I'm repeatedly hitting the space bar, so it's keeping me from double jumping. Here I'm just going to show you I have multiple scenery and I can change in between them depending on where my character is. I have a little falling hazard right there that you can go above and you have to jump to get over. And as you can see on my third scene, I also have a moving enemy. A few things to take note of. I do have lives up here on the top left. Let's say, for example, if I hit this human, I lose a life. If you lose all of them, the game does quit and is over. But if I hit the final target here at the end, the game wins. So that is a very basic view of the game. I'm going to show you one more time what happens if I lose too many lives. So you can see if I fall down the pit, I get reset to the very beginning and I lose a life. If I fall down the pit one more time, I lose another life. Now, of course, if I hit Walda, the game is over, right? So that's the basics of it. Here, I'm going to do it one more time. Let's say I go to the middle, and if I hit Z, which is my reset button, my game resets. I get all my lives back. Again, I'm going to show that. So if I lose a life, I hit Z, my game resets, right? So the game is on this level, at least, is pretty basic. These are what you want to do. This is kind of what an end product should look like. Now, keep in mind, there are a few things missing. If you are going off the main project, not the easier version of the project, the more simple version, we're missing power-ups, as you can clearly tell. I'm also missing a stationary enemy, but that's about it. The rest of it, it really is there. The functionality of it's there. But if you turn in a project that was similar to this, you might get docked a couple of points based on those missing criteria. I want to show my code real quick and how I have it set up. So as you can see here, I have all my scripts. The way I have my stuff breaking down, just to kind of give you an idea of how I organized it, I have my main character here. As you can see, I kind of have most of the motion and different things from right here. I really am controlling most of what's happening in the game from this main sprite. So as you can see, the main character, we have our code for reset, and then we have our functionality for pretty much all the movement right here. We have initializing things in the script, and then we also have a forever loop that checks our different stuff that we want to do. So here I have motion, which controls my left to right movement. I have gravity, which controls how quickly I fall. I also have a scene change script that basically tells the sprites in the stage or in the snap program what happens when when I go left to right, what we want to do, the messages we want to broadcast. I also have a script that takes care of my lives for me, as well as a script that takes care of what happens when we hit the goal, right? So I've kind of chosen, and I think it's just the way I set it up to have most of the control be in this main sprite. So it's kind of stuff that's being checked constantly. Okay, am I hitting an enemy? What happens to my lives? That's in lives 2. And then, what happens when I finish the game? What happens when I hit the goal? That's in the goal script right here. And again, watch my videos if you want to see kind of how I built that and what's inside each of those. Another few things to show here as well. I have a ground sprite. So this one is this white border that you see right here, and I can move it for you. That is sort of the different platforms that I have in my game. I have a moving enemy as well. That is a very basic, just move around. I've kind of set up an enemy motion here to control what it does. And of course, when it interacts with the main character, I have that script inside my main character sprite. I also have live sprite. This was really useful for me because it would control what would happen either if I lose all my lives, if I win the game, or whatever kind of happens. I kind of thought it was a good sprite to kind of show that status. So if you're doing something like maybe you're showing power-ups, right, or you're showing the status of something within the game, I think this would be a great sprite to use. It's basically, and the way that I made most of these is that they're checking for messages that are being broadcast. So when my character, let's say my character goes, and I need to make sure I have control, goes all the way to the right, I jump. As you can see here, if I hit the goal, which I will do in just 1 second, You can see it very briefly there. My win script right here initialized, and it popped up and it checked a message that my main character was outputting based on this goal sprite right here while I'm waving my mouse. Another thing that I set up also is my stages. Pretty simple. It mostly just checks for the broadcast that I have set up in my main character, and then it switches backgrounds based on that. It's relatively simple for a scene script. If you wanted to, you could really use a scene script to do a lot of your different scripting throughout the match and kind of figuring out throughout the game what's going on. But that's just how I chose to set it up. And then just to show you the scripts inside this as well, again, it's just looking for different broadcasting messages. So that's the basics of it. This is what I build throughout the 4 parts of the videos that I have in the same playlist. And that really is a very basic look at the project. I think this would certainly get a passing grade if it was within my class. But I do think it's missing a few things, like power-ups and a few different control mechanisms that we want implemented. So there you go. That's pretty much all I have for the video. Please leave a like or a comment under this or any of the others if you have any questions on a Unit 3 project. Thank you, you guys.